I can remember that July day in 1999 when his plane went down. Did John F. Kennedy Jr. have any political ambitions?
Absolutely, and it took him a long time to get around to it, you know. I think he said he's going to run for the New York Senate seat, being vacated by Daniel Patrick Moynihan. Hillary Clinton wanted that seat. It was the seat that was to launch her career, but she was very afraid that John would throw his hat in the ring at the last minute, and indeed that's exactly what he planned to do. And he told his best friend, you know, I've lived here all my life, New York. She's a carpetbagger. She's never spent any time here. So wait till Hillary gets here. She'll have her head handed to her. I mean,
well, I didn't realize that he actually had plans in motion to run for that Senate seat. Final question, in your opinion, would JFK Jr. have ever run for the presidency?
I think he would have, and I think Jackie expected him to. She said, you know, one of the notes she left for him at the time of her death was, you know, you especially have a place in history.
The presidential couple themselves lost a 2-day-old son just 3 months before John's assassination. While such bad luck may strike many families, the legend of a so-called Kennedy curse really began when Bobby Kennedy was assassinated during the early stages of his own presidential bid.
The idea of a possible curse occurred after Bobby Kennedy died, was killed 5 years after his brother. People thought, how is it possible that this family has suffered so much? Is there some curse?
We just want to update viewers on exactly what is going on. Right now we have the FAA, the Air National Guard, and the Coast Guard searching for the plane of John F. Kennedy Jr., a single-engine Piper Saratoga.
Continuing coverage of the breaking story, the search for an airplane carrying John F. Kennedy Jr.
Who was on board the plane with Kennedy and his wife. An aircraft headrest has also been found 200 yards off the coast.
He took off from a New Jersey airport last night, heading eventually for his cousin Rory's wedding at the family compound in Hyannisport, after stopping first in Martha's Vineyard.
It was 8:39 p.m. when he took off from the small airport in New Jersey. A little more than an hour later, when the Kennedy plane fails to show up at the Martha's Vineyard airport, relatives call the Coast Guard. Daybreak now, and search planes take to the air. And now air traffic controllers find evidence of an unidentified radar blip that disappeared during the night at 9:39 p.m. That last radar hit was about here, 17 miles off Martha's Vineyard, near Gay Head. At a point where John Kennedy's plane would have been descending into thick, heavy haze and preparing to turn either left or right to set up for the approach to runway 24 from this direction, dictated by prevailing winds. In the thick haze and the turn, could Kennedy have become confused? And this afternoon, the grim finds wreckage washed to within 200 yards of shore off Gay Head. An eyewitness to one find, Chris Urbetta.
As it came in, we noticed that it was a piece of luggage, and a friend of mine who we were with pulled it in, and we lifted up a little Velcro name tag, and it turned out to be Lauren Bissett.
Lauren Bissett, Kennedy's sister-in-law, aboard the plane with Kennedy and Kennedy's wife, Carolyn, as it went down, or as it's presumed to have gone down. Tonight, authorities say they'll continue to search intensely for days, if need be.
At about 02:15 this morning, Coast Guard Operations Center at Group Woods Hole in Woods Hole, Massachusetts, received a telephone call from a family friend indicating that John F. Kennedy, his wife Carolyn Bissett, and his sister-in-law Lauren Bissett, who had earlier departed from Caldwell Airport in Fairfield, New Jersey, were late in arriving at Martha's Vineyard.
It was 8:39 p.m. when he took off from the small airport in New Jersey. A little more than an hour later, when the Kennedy plane fails to show up at the Martha's Vineyard airport.
At about 02:15 this morning, Coast Guard...
And, you know, I actually, when I got home, I said, you know, to my family, I said, somebody's probably going to kill himself in the airplane. I hate to say it, But I mean, just taking off in that with that low visibility over.
Would have been descending into thick, heavy haze and preparing to turn either left or right to set up for the approach to runway 24 from this direction, dictated by prevailing winds. In the thick haze and the turn, could Kennedy have become confused?
And I've said to people before that your weather can be very dicey off that island up there. From your point of view, what's the haze factor issue for a pilot?
It wasn't unusually hazy for here this time of year.
It was or was not?
It was not.
Right.
How long it took for the first planes to be out searching, and what were they, and how this search differs from a search of somebody who isn't a celebrity?
Well, we treat all searches the same. There is no difference between celebrity or non-celebrity. Our job is for all the citizens of the United States. And I believe it was approximately 3 a.m. local time that we got the information from the FAA that the aircraft was overdue. They had received word from family members.
That last radar hit was about here, 17 miles off Martha's Vineyard, near Gay Head.
Reports, ABC is reporting that the plane possibly went into a dive about 19 miles off the coast of Martha's Vineyard.
But, Colonel, the radar signatures, we've heard a number of reports, as ABC mentioned.
ABC is reporting today that the plane possibly went into a dive about 19 miles off the coast of Martha's Vineyard. Does that mean the search will start focusing right there and you will pull away from, say, Long Island or other areas you're searching, or will you pretty much go about what you're doing?
We'll continue on the same track that we're on.
So what is this black box they always seem to be looking for? Now, the black box is very often actually split in two black boxes, which will help the investigators to determine what and how it led to the accident. Each box roughly weighs sort of 20 pounds and each have the size of a shoebox. One of them is the CVR, the Cockpit Voice Recorder. Now picture a classic tape recorder with 4 microphone cables attached to it. One leading into the radio control panels to record any communication between the pilots and the air traffic controllers, one recording all conversations via the intercom within the cockpit, and another one leading to the overhead panel microphone, recording like ambient sounds of the cockpit, such as engine sounds and aural warnings. When does it and how much does it record? It automatically starts recording in flight and on ground when at least one engine is running and for a few minutes after the last engine was shut down. The other recorder, or the second black box, is the flight data recorder. Now the flight data recorder, also known as the ADR, the accident data recorder, records data at a much larger scale than the CVR. Now the FAA regulates that the FDR must monitor at least 88 important parameters such as altitude, airspeed, heading, aircraft attitude for a minimum of 25 hours. Nowadays, FDRs made by Honeywell, for instance, can record up to 1,000 in-flight parameters and characteristics such as the flap position, the autopilot modes, weather radar readouts, and much, much more to aid the investigators. Now, this then allows the retrieved data from the FDR to generate a computer-animated video reconstructing the flight before and during the crash, which then can look very similar to this animation. So the combination of the visual part by the FDR and the